blows. As I said earlier, or if you're just joining, that's a word. Blow. That's how you do it. Blow. And unfortunately, blow can be used so many different ways, like the phrasal verb blow up. That totally means something different. Maybe this English lesson will blow up on YouTube. That's a good thing. That means more people can watch it. And if you haven't hit that like button yet, it will help others find this lesson and maybe it will blow up. Or you can share it with a friend who's learning English. But there is another way that we can use blows in English. So at the bottom there, you might know how to use blows as a verb, something you do, but can be used in a different way. How about this? Jeff blew on his pizza to cool it off. So the past tense of blow, when you've already done it, it becomes blue. But not like the color. That is spelled differently. Don't you love how easy English is? Yeah, right. But blows can also mean like to hit or to punch. So if you look at the bottom, blows can mean to hit someone, like punch them. Here's an example sentence. The argument got so intense that it came to blows. So an argument or a dispute, pretty much the same thing, when two people don't agree on something, they might have an argument, they might have a dispute. It might start with shouting or yelling, but if it comes to blows, that means they start hitting each other. And if you are watching on YouTube here, or maybe Facebook, you can see the picture blows. And it looks like this person is punching. I don't know what those are. Are those blocks? Cinder blocks, maybe? But they are punching something. And it looks like they are punching it hard. They're making it actually crack in half. So blows can also mean to hit somebody. And in this article, the mother is going to say her daughter died from blows to the head. So maybe it's punches, maybe it's using an object to hit this young girl in her head. But the mom is saying, no, she died from blows to the head. The Iranian government is saying, no, she fell from a tall building. That's how she died. Any questions so far? Howdy. Hope you're doing well. Newark is in the house. I have driven through Newark a couple times. There's usually a lot of traffic. Yes, I'm in the basement now. If you've seen my other videos, it is, or at least at the beginning of the week, it was very wet. Now it is very dry, and tomorrow I think the problem is going to be fixed. All right, Mahmoud says, my sisters have always worn a hijab and they've never had any problems. So, as far as I understand in Iran, there are some women who are choosing not to wear a hijab. They're choosing not to cover their head. And some people in power, we will talk about them later, the elites, not easy to say, they have a problem with that and they are forcing women to cover their heads. So I am not going to get into that discussion, but in my country, at least, in the United States, most people, remember, there are 300 million people in the United States, so we don't all agree on everything. But I think most people value a woman deciding for herself. I have some students who are Muslim. They decide, I am not going to cover my head. I have other students who decide that they are going to cover their head. But of course, it is going to use a big word. It is up to your interpretation of the Quran. Well done. Thank you. Hopefully, you're talking about this lesson. All right. Mahmoud says, I see the word a lot in headlines. What does it mean? Great question, Mahmoud. So let's talk about protests. My country is no stranger to protests. That's another way to say we know quite a bit about protests. But in this country where I live, the United States, it is legal to protest. When you protest something, that means you don't like the way it is and you want to let other people know about it. So maybe you carry a sign saying, let's say the women in Iran and the men who support them, they might carry a sign and walk down the street. Their sign may say, I don't need to wear a hijab. That could be their protest. All the time in the United States, when you're going down the street, you could see a protest happening. Lots of people will gather or they will get together. They will all be thinking the same thing. Maybe guns. In this country, guns are often the subject of protests. Some people think that guns should be banned. So they could all get together, carry their signs, and say, no more guns, no more guns. They're letting the government know that they should change something. That's what a protest is. Yes, the towers. I don't even know if I can say that, but that is true. They did. Arone, how are you? Welcome. All right, Freddie Wolf has a great sentence. This guy is doing karate with his bare hands and causing a blow to the cement, maybe. Yeah, this is my bare hand. If you don't have a bare hand, you might have on a boxing glove. But yeah, that person in the picture, let me bring that. Yeah, bare hand, delivering. We might use that verb, delivering a blow to the cement, delivering a blow to the cement. All right, Mahmoud, I will try to answer as many questions as possible. But let's get back to the article. I believe there was another word that I underlined that we should probably talk about, and that is crackdown. Crackdown. Now, I actually use this phrase as an English phrasal verb in a recent English lesson. I think it was called Phrasal Verbs That Sound Violent But Aren't. Crackdown. So a crackdown is one word. I can pull that up here. A crackdown. Crackdown can also be used as a verb to crack down on something. It's two words then. Let's talk about what crackdown might mean. A crackdown is when people who have power try to put a stop to something. I think there might be a typo in there. Let me fix that so it sounds better. Try should be singular. Do this correctly here. Crackdown is when people who have power try to put a stop to something. That's correct. Not tries. Try. So in the picture you can see looks like some people who are in authority. They have some power. It looks like the police, and it looks like there might be a protest happening. A lot of people are gathered. So maybe the police want to crack down on that protest. That means they put a stop to it. They tell all of the people, hey, you need to go home now. If you do not go home, you will get arrested. You will be put into custody. We're going to be talking about custody in a minute. How about this example sentence? This is not true, but the teachers at my school tried to crack down on students being late to school. So you try to put a stop to something when you're trying to crack down on something. So students were showing up late to school. So maybe the teachers say, hey, if you do not come to school on time, you will get a detention. That means you will have to stay after school even longer. Crack down. People in authority, people who have power, try to stop something from happening. Any questions so far? Looks like that. Oh,